A very warm and hearty welcome to everyone. A very happy Republic Day. On this auspicious day, I feel honored to be a part of GETI to host a live talk with our eminent guest towards the sole motto of disruptive education, which is actually leading change in education. And it itself holds a big part in the safeguarding and protection of the freedom and the independence that is given to us by our honorable Indian heroes. They have fought on a very brave level, and today we are here. So, very a warm welcome and a very happy Republic Day to you, ma'am. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Shraddha Mishra, Ambassador of Change from GETI, that is Global Education and Training Institute, and I will be the host for your live talk today. I warmly welcome, and I first of all like to tell you about my prestigious institute. GETI is founded and conceptualized by our Dr. Sunita Gandhi with a broad vision of disruptive education. It's one of the most premium training institutes of India, under which we provide two types of training. One is pre service training, where we train aspiring teachers who wish to be outstanding teachers for future. And the other is in service, where we train teachers who are already in service. On these live forums, we conduct trial live talks where we actually invite policymakers, bureaucrats, entrepreneurs to share their varied educational practices on this very ground. And because our Dr. Sunita Gandhi, our dear ma'am, she believes in bringing these transformative changes under the big banner of disruptive education, hence these endeavors. So, ma'am, I'm very privileged and thrilled to welcome you on our board. I'll be grooming your brief bio to all our eminent guests and virtual audience. So, Hina Ansari, ma'am, she's a certified career counselor of UCLA Extension University, certified counselor for Counsel India for Depression and Life Rebuilding, certified school and career counselor for Endorphin, certified stress management counselor for Royal Institute of India, diploma in learning disorders and child psychology. She had an experience of 15 years in educational field, 5 years in training and counseling, career and behavior counseling, and she has serviced for 100 plus schools with more than 10,000 students, which in itself is a benchmark, ma'am. We are very thrilled to have you on board today, and I wish you to first introduce yourself, your topic, and then we can start with the presentation that you made. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Shraddha. And I thank Sunita Gandhi ma'am for giving me an opportunity. I'm thrilled and pleasured today that I was once a time a team. Even I can even consider today myself as a team with Dr. Gandhi. And it is my high honor to be sitting over here and talking about her vision of disruptive education. Everybody knows Dr. Gandhi, her achievements, her way and visions towards education, which is awesome. And I am highly privileged that I have been honored to serve her, work with her under her esteemed guidance. And a great thanks to ma'am and all the GETI team for making me a guest today. From a host to a guest, that is really a good thing. And all thanks to Gandhi ma'am, because it is her transformation, her inspiration, and she being a great inspiration to us has made this possible today. And I wish all my viewers today a very happy Republic Day, and we wish to see more good days ahead in India. And today my topic will be counseling and awareness about counseling. Basically, I think we need more of awareness in India about counseling, because once we come about counseling, most of the people, whenever they think of counseling, the first word that comes to their mind is okay, theek hai, somebody is going to talk about how to go to Canada, how to go to America, how to go to Australia, talk about visas, talk about something, how to write the IELTS exams or SAT exams. So this is what all comes when anybody thinks about the first word counseling. So I'm here to give a little awareness that about what is counseling and what are the different kinds of counseling and what is a difference between career counseling and guidance. So there are very much different zones to it. So let us just flow and see if we can help each other in this learning. So let us first get out what is counseling. So, counseling is not actually only for the people who need some psychiatric help. It is for anybody and everybody. Counseling have many different zones. Not just career counseling; it's physical counseling, emotional counseling, mental health issues to improve, and there are a lot of diagnoses, assessments. Okay, so the first point what we have to think is a counselor does not mean somebody who is talking about only your visas for Canada, Australia, or any part of the world. No, that is actually not counseling, that is guidance. So, that is the first thing I want to clarify. Counseling is a support which is for your needs, which are physical, emotion, mental, and your issues to help you out in your day in and day out. This is what counseling is. Second thing is why counseling is important. Now, in today's world, due to pandemic, lot of people have lost their job. Students are sitting back home to learn. Parents are in a pressure because they are not every parent is very healthy with the tech savvy person. Apart from that, there are students who do not have the privilege in India for lot of technology, and due to lot of people losing their job or salary cuts and all, there is lot of I can say depression, anxiety, stress in people. So when we talk about counseling, we help you to cater these things, to cope up with these things. Many of my friends, many of the people I know come to me and ask me like, okay, I'm feeling very low today. Then I keep on asking them, what makes you low? What is that you have? And many of my family, extended families, my friends, the people who know me in the education sector, that is the different schools I have served in so far, being the regional head for 2 3 companies, I always find that many parents also come to me, many teachers come to me, many students come to me. They come with different questions, like questions related to their career, questions related to their self, exploring their self and all. So this is why counseling is important. Like everybody needs somebody to listen. कोई सुनने वाला चाहिए. What is there in your heart? What is there in your soul? What you are exactly looking? There should be somebody to listen to it, and that is why counseling comes up. Who needs counseling? As I said, everybody needs counseling, right? Starting from a small child, which is just a toddler, or can say somebody who is in first in the second year of his life or third year of his life, when they struggle with the basic development, they also need a little support. Their parents need a support. People need counseling in every aspect, whether it is your education counseling, whether it is related to your mental health counseling, whether it is related to your emotional imbalances, or your issues which are related to your love life, family life. So everybody needs counseling. Different types of counseling, as I earlier said also, the different types of counseling: marriage and family counseling. I think in today India is really going through a tough time. Like many people are going through tough times in different parts of the world also. Why I'm specific saying India is that I have seen in the recent past that we have more broken marriages, more single parents than any other countries. So marriage counselings are very important. Family counseling is important. Why? Because lot of the elderly people, or I can say a generation 2 steps ahead to us, their kids have left abroad for work, for careers, for learning, and they are left behind alone. And they need a lot of counseling to cope up with their loneliness. They need lot of understanding to know how to utilize their time best. Recent past, I have come across a lady, a very senior lady, who was lost her willing of life. For the reason is she thought that, okay, why should I live? The question was, why should I live? So the simple answer is, life is beautiful. It is a gift of God. And how best you can make it beautiful, it is up to you. So this is how we counsel them step by step. We will learn in the future slides about what are the different steps of counseling are. So let us hold that for a second and talk about the different types of counseling. Educational counseling. Now, educational counseling is a very huge zone, or I can say career counseling is a very, very, very huge zone. Why I call it as a huge zone is it's divided into multiple layers. Multiple layers is like when we talk about somebody from class 6th and 7th, to what subjects he has to strengthen, what subject lining he has to take to make his professional choices better. Like most of the people, we actually started learning this from Gandhi ma'am also, that if the child is very good in mathematics and is scoring 80s, to bring him to hundreds in mathematics is better rather than pushing the child into other subjects, languages, or social sciences, to bring him to an average student. To if I have to bring a child to success with his professional life, learning life, and his overall development, I have to emphasize on the subject where the child is very good in. So, if the child is good in maths, I will emphasize him more on the mathematics topics and take ask him to take the subjects with his 11th and 12th which are related to mathematics, whether it could be MPC, MEC, they could make lot of combinations in different curriculums or boards. So that is one point. And this educational counseling basically starts from class 6th onwards, and by 8th we start counseling with the parents also, and by 10th when the child is on the turning point of the life. Because why I am calling it as a turning point, from there the child decides like, okay, what subjects I am going to taking in my 11th and 12th, what could be my professional career. If the child has to write his MSET exams, then he has to choose the subjects wisely. So there could be a counseling not just for the child but for the parents also, because as a counselor it is our responsibility to look at the pocket size of the parents, their dreams, the child's abilities, and the child's strength also. That is one thing. Again, after intermediate also there are chances where the child is confused, like I am very good in mathematics but I want to don't want to take it with the engineering part. What are the options? As a counselor, I suggest you can go for BSc Actuaries, you can go for something related to the CA part. There are many, many, many more options. Then there are tests also in the counseling, where we call it as a DMIT test or MAP test. So they are biometric tests, they are psychometric tests. When I talk about the DMIT test, it is basically a test which talks about your strength in the particular, whether you are a people's person or things person, or you are an idea person, or you are a person who is more in love with the different things like objects and all. So this all test we have to do and understand the child and only suggest him what is best for the child. But it again, we have to do a lot of sessions with the parents also, because if the parents are doctors and they want the child to do medicine only, but the child is not interested in actually being a doctor, there are many more zones where the child can learn, develop, and grow. One could be, if he loves the machines, he can develop some machineries for the better development of the medical sector. So that is one thing, he can take it up as a career also. So that is about career counseling. Then rehabilitation counseling. We have a lot of addictions, like everybody around the world have a lot of addictions, whether it is related to addiction of the mobile phones, or addictions of the alcoholism, or any kind of a weed or opium. So this all comes for the rehabilitation or counseling. Again, this counseling is not just limited to the people with these three factors, which are main factors. There are many more addictions where people have. So rehabilitation counseling talks about the one particular thing. People are trained to do it especially for that. Then comes as the mental health counseling. Now, this is a serious counseling where the people of schizophrenia, people with strong phobias are getting counseled. And people who actually do it are basically the psychiatrists who do it. Now, the counselors cannot do it because it needs more in depth knowledge of the medical science. to understand the brain things, how the brain functions, how it works. So mental health always talks about serious, very serious things. Substance abuse counseling. So this one counseling I have done a lot. And abuse can be both to a boy or a girl, to a female or a male, both. And abuse can be also verbal. It can, merely should not be say physical kind of abuse. Sometimes there is a lot of moral, or I can say oral abuse also, which goes to the people. So this abuse comes a lot. There are a lot of people who comes with the complaint of being abused, mostly verbal abuse. Sometimes it's more on a physical abuse. So we talk about abuse counseling. We do a lot of abuse counseling. I personally do a lot of abuse counseling. Then comes the genetic counseling. So this maybe sound a new word to many people. What is genetic counseling? So I can give you a simple example, which says that a family has a history of cancers. Like might be there is a aunt, or might be the father or mother, or somebody who is like a generation ahead of you, have been into cancers, different kind of cancers. So there are great possibilities that even the person who has come for counseling also has those genes, or also has those things in him. So here we counsel them how to overcome first the fear of getting the cancers, then again talk about the different medications, precautionary medications, healthy lifestyles. It's more done by nutritionists and the doctors, because this comes more into the zone of the doctors and the people who are into medicals. Counseling for children with special needs. Now we know that there are a lot of children who are special. Autism spectrums to children are there, ADHD students are there, and children are there, and there are many more, things which the children need special needs. So not just the child has to counsel, but also we have to counsel the parent. I'll give you a classic example. In my own family, there is somebody who is an autist child. So, to overcome his autism spectrum, we have to work out with the mother and the father also, tell them how to deal with the child at different circumstances, because it's very important that these children need a strong support, and the parents also need a strong support. And here there is lot of exercises, lot of moral development, because if the child has a down syndrome, if the child has autism, the parents are really struggling very very hard. So what we do in this is, we just don't counsel one person, we counsel the entire parents also, sometimes extended family members also. We do a lot of counseling with them. Adolescence counseling. So we have to actually tell the children what is good touch, bad touch. There are a lot of myths and facts related to the physical development which happens in the time when the child starts from 11 years basically to 18 years. There is a lot of emotional imbalances. There are a lot of physical changes which comes up. So I have done around more than 100 plus schools for adolescence counseling, and try to resolve a lot of issues with the students also. And when I actually do the adolescence counseling in the school, even the teachers comes with a lot of questions to me about the different myth which is in our society. So we actually try to help them for the same, to understand like, okay, this is fine, if you are doing this it's perfectly fine, you're not doing anything wrong, it's not a crime, it is nothing to do, it happens with everyone, everybody has dealt with it, we have also come across to it. So we do a lot of counseling. I especially love a lot of adolescence counseling, because I come across the students who come with out of the world questions to me for the particular adolescence counseling. So it's a lovely thing, but we have to do a lot of awareness, because what I tell as a counselor or whatever the other counselors say may differ from what the family says. There are a lot of myths we had in our culture and society which are totally not very scientific. So we have to make a good balance, do a lot of awareness, not just to the child. Even sometimes I have to call up the parents and say them, see, this is not medically correct, this is not the way we actually do it. So the best practice is this. If you can kindly do this, please, it's better. So apart from what I have mentioned over here, there are many more counselings to name. There are more than, I can say, 15 different aspects of counseling. So I have just selected the most used or most needed ones. So, stages. There are different stages. As a counselor, I have to develop a strong relationship with my counselee. A person whom we counsel is called as a counselee. So, we have to actually go to the problem, what problem it is, what the child or the person, the adult or the student or the person who has come to us is facing. And then we set up the goals. The goal setting is basically like how much time it will take, how much of different kind of I can say assessments we need to do for it. Even there are psychometric assessments, we go for it. Then we set up the goals, like, okay, I have an addiction of, let's say somebody has an addiction of smoking. I said I could take a time of 6 months and help the particular person quit the smoking. And what could be the different assessments, what could be the goal settings, and how we are going to do. Then counseling interventions, we mostly do it with the extended families. Even a lot of addictions need counseling with the extended families also. Evaluation, terminations, and referrals. Like what we call as referrals is, might be I'm doing a counseling with my specialities, but I see that okay, this child needs more extra hand, like he is a autist child. Now I have to shift it from the counseling level towards a psychologist doctor. So I have to do a lot of referrals when I know this is my limitation. As a counselor, this is my limit to support. But this particular thing, the ADHD or the schizophrenia or the syndromes, they need more medical help. So I will do the referrals. Simultaneity comes to us. A lot of people, they directly approach a psychiatrist, they directly approach doctors for this problems when they are emotionally low. They don't come to counselors because to us the meaning of counseling has actually changed. So they don't think that counseling means somebody who will help me to go abroad, not somebody who's actually going to talk to me. So I'm just trying to clear this cloud or a fog, that what counseling is actually. So even the psychiatrists, they send us back and say, no, 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 he's perfectly fine, he doesn't have any mental problems, the only problem he has is he needs somebody to understand and support. And we get referrals, and when we see a case, we refer them back. So, as I was now, one important thing which I'm going to talk today is counseling and guidance. So, a lot of people thinks that counseling and guidance are one and the same, but it is actually not one and the same. गाइडेंस कैन बी गिवन बाय एनीवन. लाइक घर में कोई आपका बड़ा होगा और वो बहुत ज्यादा इंटेलेक्चुअल होगा, so many people call that particular person for guidance. And what actually happens during family disputes or disputes related to the spouse is somebody from the family who is neutral is being called, and they try to resolve it, but it actually does not go. The first step of counseling is that says that you have to be unbiased. I cannot be on any one side. So I have to be unbiased. And when I'm doing a counseling, I need a private place, I need a confidential place. Whereas guidance can be done at any public place. Guidance can be given by anybody at any point of a time. Like there could be a family which we Indians are called as herds. So there could be a family, somebody has done engineering, so now the entire family members or the children who are in the same age groups are supposed to or forced to do the engineering only, without even knowing that their strength is not engineering. Might be their strength is something different. Might be that person is very good with his communication skills, he can do better with that, or he is very good with his writing skills, he can do his excellence in literature. Or somebody who's very good with the hotel management skills or cooking skills can make a career with that. But if one person is an engineer, on the guidance level everybody goes into the same flow. And even when it comes about the marriage disputes or spouse disputes or family disputes, one person is being appointed to resolve it. But is the person trained to do it? Is he understanding the core or the bottom line of what the problem it is he actually solving the problem? Is he being emotional there? One important things we have to understand as a counselor or a person who is a counselor is, when a person comes as a guidance, he will be sympathetic towards you, he will have more sympathy with you. But as a counselor I am empathic towards you, I have a lot of empathy towards you, and I'll try to go to the core problem or the bottom of the problem, understand and also respect the feelings from all the sides. And then, with a lot of sittings and interviews or calls, I'm going to understand the result and come with a proper, options, that this can be an option, this can be an option, this can be an option. Guidance is one solution, but counseling is more options. Okay. And guidance can be, as I said, done anywhere. Counseling has to be done with private and confidentially. It cannot be with anybody and everybody anywhere. I can just can't sit in your drawing room and start doing your counseling, because there could be many things which you don't want to share with your family, with your friends, or with anybody, which you can't humbly or in a very confidential manner as a help can support with a counselor. And it is our job to keep it very private and confidential. So please understand, guidance can be given by anybody, counseling has to be done by a professionally trained person. We try to give you more options for your problems. We don't conclude with one answer. We don't just conclude with one answer. So I want all my viewers to understand this basic thing. Now, what is a counselor, what is a psychologist, and what is a psychiatrist? There's three different roles. Recently, I came across a scene where somebody has lost a dear family member, and they said that I want to go to a psychiatrist. So my first question came is, why a psychiatrist? Why not a counselor? And he's like, no, I want to go to a psychiatrist because I think I need some medication. I said, are you really thinking that you want to have a medication? Because I think there is a loss in the family, there's a lot of emotional imbalances, and you may be feeling lost out or left out, or there may be few things which are in your heart which is making your heart very heavy. So why don't we please talk to each other and try to resolve it? And if you think that it's not getting resolved with a psychologist or a counselor, then you can move to a psychiatrist. So people often get confused, what is counseling, what is a psychological help, and what is a psychiatrist role. So there are different roles. A psychiatrist is a journal medical MBBS doctor who has learned with it. He is ready to give you medications. He is not the one who is going to listen to your problems day in and day out and trying to resolve it. And a psychologist is a trained person who learns about your behaviors, both your mental and emotional disorders, and try to resolve it and diagnose with the test and evaluations. So I am a trained psychologist counselor. I try to help people with my methods and behaviors, and there are many people like me who are doing it very I can say happily to serve. This is a kind of a service we do keep on doing. Why counseling is more important now, as I started with the same note, that due to pandemic, children are also facing environmental learning disability. I think not many people know about it. Environmental learning disability is a kind of a problem where the children actually lose out a lot of gap between their growth and development. Let's say many cases which are coming to us are like a child who is 5 years old and still cannot phrase a complete sentence. So there is a development gap. There's a lot of development gap. A 5 year child should be speaking a complete sentence, should be able to recognize colors, shapes and all. So there is a gap which is coming in his development. So why this development gap has come up? The reason for it is, might be there are a lot of nuclear families. The children are not going to school, so there are less peer-to-peer interactions. Children learn better in an environment where there are a lot of peers to them. There are a lot of children with the same age group. They learn from each other far better when they learn in isolation. So, unfortunately, due to environmental learning disability, autism spectrum children are becoming more and more specific, are coming with more cases, because we have a lot of nuclear families where both the parents are working, or if only the one of the parent is working, even then the mother is doing some household work, the child is left along with lot of growth gaps, because the mother has to do some works. So might be household chaos, she has to support many things in the family, take care of the other family members also. So these children are left alone on their own, and they are given with the mobile phone to just watch it. And they don't know how to interact with each other, they don't know how to actually move a social life. So a lot of factors of environmental learning disabilities are coming up, which are seen very very clearly. We as counselors and psychologists are coming up with lot of these problems. I started seeing so many cases in the past 6 months which I have never seen in my last 5 years of work. So this has to come up. And adults are also facing a lot of emotional problems. See, a person who is trapped at home and does not have a social life, a person who does not have a very strong financial things, because might be has lost a job for a very long time, and might be there is a reason that there have been a lot of cut in his space, so they are in financial crisis also. And previously, like all the I can say children, they used to visit their parents frequently, but now due to pandemic there are a lot of travel restrictions, so the people are left alone. Elderly parents are left alone, so there is a lot of loneliness. So now, to overcome this loneliness, financial crisis, environmental things, we have to make sure that we talk to a counselor, we take a support of the counselor. People need to come overcome their phobias and insecurities also. There are a lot of insecurities, so people need to come overcome these insecurities also. And here we play an important role. Why counseling is more important now? Counseling can promote the factor of resilience. Resilient factors include having a meaning and purpose of life. As I said, a senior lady came to and asked me that I really don't want to live in, and I questioned her, why, what is stopping you, what are the things you have already have in hand, and what are the things you can do best for yourself, how creative, how contributive you can be towards the society and towards your own self. And we counselors try to bring the emotional or positive emotions. We help up with the self esteem, because a lot of people, when they don't have financial stabilities, go in a very low self esteem. So we try to motivate them by giving them multiple options of not just to get them financially independent also, I can say, but also to give them a positivity. When you have a positive mind, then there is a strong healthy body which you can do come across a lot of hurdles. And active coping, self efficiency, optimism. Okay, so we do a lot of optimism also. We try to help people overcome a lot of their internal fears and this cognitive flexibilities. So these are the things we try to resolve with our counseling techniques and um, just help out. And this is me, as already shared by my dear host Shraddha. So these are my things. I have been based in Hyderabad and worked in more than, I can say, 100 plus schools in Telangana, Andhra, and I'm into the education for very, very long time. So this is
Thank you,
from
ma'am.
me.
Yeah,
Thank you so
please.
much for listening and all. Shraddha,
Thank you
over
for
to
an
you.
insightful session, ma'am. This had been an honor to listen to every word of whatever you said about counseling as a part. And I have a very little, like, a very small question. This was there in my mind since long. So,
Okay.
actually, the thing is that in abused marriages, if a daughter in law is facing some kind of domestic violence, so basically who actually needs to be counseled by a psychiatrist, the in-laws who are abusing her or the victim who's being suffered, and if both, so what is the difference in it?
First thing is, it's not has to be done by a psychiatrist. It can be done with a psychologist and a counselor.
Okay.
A certified marriage counselor will do it. And first, we'll talk to the counselee, the person who has come with the support,
Okay.
a support of being abused. So we first try to understand their issues, like what is the trigger of the abuses, what is triggering the other person for the abuse, whether it is the dowry, whether it is the behavior, whether it's any family dispute, or if one of the family members is being very, very influential for that abuse. First, we try to resolve it, understand it with an interview. We call it as an interview for the session. So we try to speak and take the maximum from our counseling. Then we invite the other person, or I can say the person who is the abuser, and try to understand what is the concern, what is the area of the abuses, what is making him do that act. Okay, so what is making him do that act? Like somebody says that, okay, he's an alcoholic, and when he's drunk, he doesn't know what kind of abuse he is doing in. So we try to again resolve his alcoholism with rehabilitations. And if the cases are extreme, then we go to the department. In Hyderabad, we have she departments. So these departments, they have people who legally interfere into it, and
Okay.
they call both the families to resolve it. And even after the abuse, the person who has been abused need a lot of counseling to develop his emotional traumas, to develop his core strength. You know, when you are abused, you really go very, your self-esteem is very low. So we try to
Yes.
resolve it also. I hope
Thank
I
you
have
for
answered the
such an
question.
yes, ma'am. That is what I am saying. The only point that I wanted to know, because there are many families that they don't go to psychologist or psychiatrist when such a case is there. So there needs to be a rise of a counseling session for both of the people, who's the
Yes,
abuser and the victim itself who is suffering. So thank you
yes.
so much, ma'am, for for just driving this point so well back to home that we got everything so cleared. Thank you so much for this insightful session, and whole of our Getty team is very much grateful for your session and for your words. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Shraddha. Thank you. Have a great day ahead. And once more, happy Republic Day to all our viewers. Thank you so much. And we'll catch up soon. Take
Yes,
care.
ma'am. We'll be honored to
Stay,
host you
stay
again for your
safe.
grateful words.
Great. Thanks. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
ma'am. Thank you so much. Bye bye.